my dears, happy Monday. I hope you all had a fabulous weekend. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you are new here. My name is Emma and I'm so happy you clicked on my What's for Dinner video. I hope you love it. We'll give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Let's jump right on into this week's What's for Dinner video. For tonight's dinner, on Wednesday, I always post a puff pastry short, and I had made a jalapeno popper puff pastry. And I had some of this jalapeno popper filling still left, so I decided just to cook it up on some pork chops. So I'm going to start by frying up my pork chops in a little bit of butter, and then I seasoned one side with some badilla complete and put that in my fry pan in the butter, and I'm going to season the other side, and I'm going to let these fry up for about 4 minutes on each side. For our side, I'm just going to make some diced potatoes and some peas and carrots, and I just put them in the same pan and season them with some badilla complete and some butter, and just let them cook up for about 15 minutes. After the pork chops had cooked for 4 minutes on each side, I flipped them one more time and added a little bit of beef broth, about 1/4 cup, and then I put that jalapeno popper mixture on the pork chops. Go check out my puff pastry jalapeno popper recipe. It's up on my shorts. It was delicious. So then once the jalapeno popper mixture was on my pork chops, I put the lid on and let it cook up for about 20 minutes. Once the potatoes and peas and carrots were cooked, I just drained them. And my pork chops are done, so now time to serve it up. This was delicious and a great way to use that jalapeno popper mixture. I didn't want it to go to waste. It was good. It had bacon, cheddar, cream cheese, jalapenos, of course. So, you don't want it to go to waste. Anyway, here everything is served up. Delicious. Happy Taco Tuesday. Today we are making taco pie. I'm going to start by browning up my ground beef. Once the ground beef had browned up, I just drained it and added a taco seasoning pack. And once the taco seasoning pack was in, I just fill up the little sachet with water. And I gave that a good old stir, pop the lid on, and just let that warm up. Okay, so now I'm just going to cook up some Old El Paso traditional refried beans. I always add a little bit of milk in my refried beans. My husband taught me that, and it makes them just so creamy and delicious. So I just let the refried beans cook up, and then I drained. Once the taco seasoning had been, cooking up with the ground beef, I ended up just draining the excess water that was on the ground beef off, just because we're using a pie crust. I didn't want to make it all mushy. You know what I mean? I hope you know what I mean. Anyway, here's my pie crust. I just did a layer of the refried beans and then just spreaded them out on the bottom. Then I added my drained ground beef and spreaded that out. Then I added some Mexican 4 cheese on top of that and spreaded that out as good as I could. Then I put this in my preheated 375 degree oven for 25 minutes. After the 25 minutes, I ended up just doing a broil on high for 5 minutes just to get the ends of the pie crust all crusty. Anyway, here it was out of the oven, so now it's out. I let it cool for a few minutes as well. Anyway, so now I'm just going to add a couple of packages. I thought I had a whole container of guacamole, but I didn't, so I just used 3 of these little cups of guacamole, and I just put that on, spreaded it out. Then I added some sour cream and spread that out. Added some shredded lettuce, some salsa, then we added a little extra cheese, because why not? And then here it is with all the toppings. And we just used our pizza cutter to try to cut this up. We were having difficulties cutting this up, or at least cutting it up and making it look pretty, because it did not look pretty when we served it up. See what I mean? Not super pretty. Anyway, I used some of this Tostitos, is that how you say it? Tostitos topper, cilantro lime topper thing on top of it. And there it is. Not too pretty, but absolutely delicious. For tonight's dinner, in my slow cooker base here, I just did a half a bag of spinach. Next, I'm gonna add 1 boneless, skinless chicken breast. Chicken breast is in and on top of the spinach, and I'm gonna season it with a little onion powder, garlic powder, and some Badia Complete. Next, I'm gonna add a tablespoon of minced garlic, nice big tablespoon. And I'm just gonna throw in some diced yellow onion. Next, you're gonna add a cup of chicken broth. I'm using a teaspoon of chicken bouillon and a cup of water. Now I'm gonna pop the lid on, pop it on my Ninja Foodie base, and we're gonna slow cook it on low for 8 hours. Chicken is done and I roughly shredded it. Next, I'm gonna add 4 ounces of cream cheese. Stir, stir, stir. Next, I'm gonna add 13 ounces of artichoke hearts. And again, everybody stir, stir, stir. Then lastly, I'm just gonna add a little Parmesan cheese. And a little stir, stir, stir. And then we're just gonna pop the lid on and let it warm up and the cheese melt. It is done, now time to serve it up. Just gonna add a little extra Parmesan cheese. And then there it is, all served up. I was gonna serve it up with some pierogies, but we're both not super hungry, so we just agreed on some bread and butter with it. It doesn't look like much, but I tasted it and it is delicious. As you read from my intro screen there, we didn't know what to have for dinner this night, but Chinese is always my go-to meal. I love Chinese food. We always get the same thing, some combination chow mein, some barbecue pork, some orange chicken, and some Mongolian beef, and some crab rangoon. I think that's how you say it. Anyway, that was our dinner this night. And a fun fact about me, I actually prefer cold Chinese food. Like cold Chinese food the next day from the refrigerator, delicious. Let me know in the comments if you like cold Chinese food. Actually, let me know in the comments if you like any food cold that, you know, is technically supposed to be warm. And that concludes this week's What's for Dinner video. I hope you loved it. We'll give it a thumbs up. And subscribe if you haven't done so already. Come back on Wednesday for my puff pastry short and Friday for Soup of the Week video number 54. Have a fabulous week. Bye.